Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Cardinals here again, co-founder of Pat Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. By the way, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting that like button. Longer term subscribers, please do hit that like button and leave some comments so we can get this in wider distribution. Forgot to cover this in the stock overview. We'll take a quick look. By the way, preliminary GDP tomorrow morning, 7:30 Central. Unemployment claims 7:30 Central. You have a couple FOMC speakers tomorrow. One not till the evening, but one at 11. So do not ignore that. By the way, your heat map from today, that is ugly. That is ugly. Microsoft down over 2%, Apple down over 2%, Amazon down over 3%. So markets are not looking good. Still pretty much, and I agree, we'll only get a 25 basis point hike. So after the close, we're going to take a look at Fubo. We're going to take a look at eBay. We're going to take a look at Lemonade. I remember when people were trading that. What else? Well, of course, going to check in at those are the ones with earnings. We're going to check in on Tesla, of course, is getting beat up. Elon picking a fight with the SEC, probably not a good thing to do. By the way, tomorrow morning, Alibaba, Moderna, is going to be specifically watching those. This could be interesting, Norwegian Cruise Lines, but a big one a lot of people will be watching is Alibaba. So let me know if you want to look at any of that. How is everybody doing? Tesla Force, welcome to the house. Tesla down 11 points after hours. Oh boy. Hello, hello, Wavy. Tesla looking down bad since losing the 200 day. Looking to retest the last year's lows sometime in the next few months, and that could easily happen. By the way, I'm pulling off some of this at this point. We don't need to watch this channel. This channel is clearly gone. Remember, we've had a multitude of sell signals, and yes, you will still get rip your face off rallies. And by the way, for all you Tesla people that tune in later and contact me, this is not due to short sellers. By the way, the short to cover ratio is under a day. It will contribute to some rallies at some point, but that will contribute to rallies. This is not getting pushed down by short sellers. This is getting pushed down by positions being unwound and a lot of selling. And you now have, you know, Elon just going to town, picking a fight with the SEC. Not going to be good. I've got the word on the street that there are a number of margin calls going out. So it is more and more people are blowing up on the way down in this, which is why, you don't just buy every dip and you don't just keep dollar cost averaging. You have to know where you're wrong before your account blows up. Not to say there won't be rallies, but rallies will be short and sweet until we get a market bottom. So keep that in mind, please. 767.56, just closing below that. Major area tomorrow that I'm watching is 739, 740. You can see right in here. We have significant level. 743 is the harmonic. We're already at 735 post market. So by the way, if this stays down here, watch for that potential gap fill. We'll take a look at that in the morning though. Other than that, that's the next support. And by the way, the first target for that massive weekly double top that triggered is 729. Then the next one's 649.91, so 650. So still expecting lower prices. Again, on rallies, watch the daily rotation zone. If you're playing it shorter term, right now I'd watch, even if it rallies tomorrow, 807 to about 819 is key resistance. There are a couple aggressive buys. I'm not even going to list them right now because of the overall market conditions, and I wouldn't be trading them. So finally starting to get to oversold conditions, so we may be coming up at some point for a bounce. But again, if the NASDAQ gets a bounce, you could find some key support even on Tesla. So keep that in mind, but it wouldn't be something to back up the truck and go, this thing's going to all-time highs. It would be a little bounce, even longer term. I mean, now this 200, which was support, is key resistance in your rotation zones at 850. So the key resistance, even on the daily, is 831 to 850. And for a potential another roll over. Let's see what else we have. We had eBay earnings, and this is the kind of environment we're in. Well, where's the earnings? Let's see. Reported the EPS beat and revenue barely beat. And look, this is the kind of, oh, I had to scroll down all the way at 50 bucks. All right. So that's beat and getting hammered, even with a beat. 50, the next harmonic was 52.75. Next area is 49.59. So we're probably going to be trading there really rapidly. But even on a rally in eBay now, look, rally, rotation zone, boom. Rally, rotation zone, boom. And then the weekly, look, return to the weekly rotation zone and heading lower. I'm expecting my next major target would be around 47.50 area. So that's where we're looking with that. We had, I know we had Fubo. Fubo also released earnings, and boom, it's now wiped out. Look, this was Fubo's little run up where we went again vertical, and Fubo all the way back down 727. 727 is hard to see right here, coming in on key support, but this is just, where's Fubo going? I wouldn't be surprised to see it hit $3 easily again. Just covering that because I know a lot of people were sucked into this at much higher prices, and this is going back to probably $3 over the next few months. So keep that in mind, please. Abraham is shopping at Alibaba with Amazon put profits. Let's go take a look at Alibaba for tomorrow. Thank you for that transition, Abraham. So what's interesting is the little double turn. Now it's a quad bottom. Quad bottom at key support. And you've already come into here. Boy, if they have, it's holding on to this resistance level, becoming support. But if that breaks, you're then into this section of move, and next target's 101.05 to 93.39. If they did beat, my major resistance area is 135.17 on the daily. So I just watched for a pop into there. That was on the weekly. 135.17 on the weekly. On the daily, my major resistance is about 126.60. And if we're above there on a gap, then I'd watch that weekly area into the at the other side of the weekly rotation zone. Let's take a look. Jake, welcome. LYV. Live Nation. And they just triggered a double top. LYV. Let me see here. That might have been. No, that was a triple. That's a triple top. And it was not triggered. It would have needed at least a confirmation move below there. So that was a triple top, but it's just sitting in this big consolidation pattern on the weekly. Let's see the daily. Oh, you're meaning this little one. I was looking at the weekly. All right. Sorry, I didn't know your time frame. Again, it helps to put in, if you're looking at stuff, it helps to put it just put in daily double. So that's where, in order for that, it's up a little. What they miss. So they missed on earnings. They're stronger than expected revenue. I think that's going to roll over though. And your full target is 106.91. Uh, so that's what I'd be watching for. In order for that to stop out, it'd have to be above 120 again. And you're only at 116 on that little post bounce. So I think that's going to fill, especially if we have market weakness tomorrow. That would be a gap fill if it even lasts that long. And then you could see this easily back down to 106.91. Yep. And longer term, I'd watch for a return easily to 100. And you got the 200 closing in on that. So keep an eye on that. You have 121 after hours. I have 116. Let's see. Now it's settled back down here though. Your last trade was 116. So it did pop up there, but remember we don't ignore that for doubles. You do not use the after hours information, so that would not be a triple, by the way, because you only use regular market information since the after hours, especially now, is so thin. Looks like it was the last trade was 116. Is MO a cup and handle setup on the daily? And if so, what's are the targets? I really like MO. I was thinking of doing a play in MO. I already have my targets on there. My next major target is 53.58. And then above there, I'm at 55.24. Already had that, was looking at this. You can see here. Little, I mean, you can sort of call it. You're watching this little play, I think. This little thing. It's, to me, this isn't a cup and handle play. Even this was just a flag pattern breaking above it, basing right above there, and now rotating up. So you're again, your first little still area of resistance is 52.59, but above there, minor 53.58, major 55.30, then 58. Those are all your targets to the upside for that. All right, I'll have to figure out why my feed is wrong on LVY. Still expecting it down by tomorrow. Yeah, it's Altira. I still want to call it Philip Morris. Altira is a very nice play to the upside. Just getting overbought temporarily, but this has a lot of room to run to the upside. And remember, consumer staples, which this falls in consumer staples, is very, very strong. Okay, and look, here is your daily move back above, retest with the rising rotation zone and rotation back up. If on any weakness, you just have this minor pattern, but this is still, this one is, you have to have a game plan, but this is a buy the dip as long as it stays really above about 48. This is buyable completely from my point of view. Look at mRNA. Moderna. Yep. Wah, 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 wah. Are we going to see? You want to, who wants to bet long term we see this back? I bet you it's long term back below 60. Long term back below 60. You can see how often I look at Moderna. At least on this platform. I periodically check in it on my other platform, but not to really do much. Again, been bearish mode since roughly beginning of November on the weekly. On the daily, shifted back to bearish mode in December and just riding this thing down. 133. Ooh. Next major support is not till about 120. Well, not that bearish, but I think 100. Yeah, I would. The next support's 120. Then I could easily see 100. But this will unwind longer term. Back's names have been a terrible play. I haven't looked at Pfizer recently. What? Look at that. Oh boy, back to the 200 day. Yeah. Oh, and the 50. There's the 50-week 200 day. Boy, I bet you see now. My bet for Pfizer. I bet you we see 42 again by the end of the year. Anything else anybody wants to look at? Remember, with the broad markets, if you make sure you're watching the S&P and NASDAQ, especially because if we rally in there, you might catch a slight little rally and a bunch of stuff. HWM on the daily. And remind me, I want to take a look at Palantir again. HWM on the daily, and thank you for putting that in there. Huh. Well, you got your gap fill still in play. I wouldn't be doing anything aggressively yet. I'd be watching more for it to retest this 200 area, and then watch for a potential play. It is now still making higher high, higher low, but you start breaking back below the 200 would not be good. And right short term, I'd start watching at least for that gap fill. And I start watching really for bottoming patterns between about 32.50 and 33 to see if that holds and it can get another thing. Well, what's a company that just specializes in masks? Palladium. Palladium's a really nice play. Came back to this key 2194 area, back above the 200, trading against right here. Gets real interesting above right here. You see this? Look at this. Resistance, support, resistance, resistance. You get above here, you got some room to run. So that'll be real interesting. Even on pullbacks, that's really nice. First little key support, 2380. So that's a really nice longer term metal play also. LRCX. Yeah, this is what I looked at in the last one too, Raj. Again, this is ugly. Closing back down below this support base on a closing basis. Rotation zone couldn't get above the rotation zone. Heading lower. Here's your harmonics, 504.77, 479.54. I'm watching for at least that return to 530. You break through there. This 504 is right near this little key close before the gap up. So we do not ignore 500 to 504. And then that 480 is right by this key low. But I'm expecting, even on any rallies, this is to be sold. You can see across the rotation zone, even on that weekly picture, you had this sloppy double up here on a weekly, coming back down. But now, I mean, there's some stopping points in here, which just helps with the harmonics. But other than that, this, again, tried to break out above this major base. Could not hold it. Now coming back down. Not strong in my book. Not a long play at all for me. Applied material. I could clean up some of this other chart. I should have cleaned that up before. Applied materials. I'd just be watching this to make sure it can hold this a 125.50 area. If we get below there, because again, it's now back below its 200 rotation zone. It popped above it a couple times, but couldn't get above the 50, and now rotating back down. You start breaking below this level, I'd then watch out below. Now, this is choppy, This stock chops. Longer term, though, at this point, not tried to get above in here, but couldn't hold it, and now back below. I'm watching for, again, a retest here. There might be, if there's something on a short-term basis down there, when it comes down here, there could be a little support play there, but if that's, you could play that with a tight stop for a, that would be a bounce play only. Then I'd watch for another rollover move. Because remember, they beat, and that was back on the 16th of February. Got the little pop. They have the dividend coming out. Or that was yesterday. So, and again, it popped down on the dividend and then a little gap up and rolling over again. Nothing I'd touch on this besides possibly a little support play. But that's it. Longer term, I'm watching for lower prices in here. Avgo, yeah, I looked at that again at the end of the last stream, and I don't know if you were in there. Avgo, daily breaking down here. Not good into this little move. I'm watching for 542.31. Then I'd be keying off of 523 to about 525. I'm expecting it to retest this 200. It held there once before. This would be a major magnet. The only thing that would change my tune is if it got above about 612. 612 to the upside. That's not looking good. To the downside, again, on your weekly basis, you can see here, could not get a pop-up. Also here, so I wish I put this on the last little stream too. Remember when we see the momentum to the downside, sort of a vertical up, vertical down move, I watch for a return to the 50 to 62.5, which we did, and now we're rolling back down. So I think I even said in there, I revised my 612 to 616. That's what I said in the other one. Sorry, I went a little low on that 612 because that's the only way I'd be interested if it got back above the 62.5. Other than that, I'm watching easily. Remember that 523 area on the daily. That's key on the weekly. And that's where that is on the daily. So that's my magnet. That's my magnet price. I bet you will see that trade within the next couple weeks. Cost. Oh, that's, when are earnings? March 3rd. I'd be watching. I bet you before earnings you see 467. It's a little clear path down to about 483.60 area. I'd be watching this key support level. The only thing that would change me getting into bullish mode would be above right about 530. We'll just go off 530. That's the only thing on bullish mode for me. Until it got above there, not touching it. And that's, look at that. That's 62.5% level. So I'd be, that's again to the upside, but I'm watching for a return to the 200 and this key resistance becoming support. So that was cost GS. Oh, that's ugly. Goldman Sachs. That's not a financial. Now, I bet you we might get a bounce coming up soon. Couldn't even fully fill that gap. I'd be watching for a potential bounce play down here somewhere. Possibly around 338 level. Then the next area, if we did not get a bounce there, I'd probably be down about 323, 325 area. But again, not good. That could not fully fill that gap. I know in the financial services still are the financial sector still holding on, but it's getting weaker over time. And on a bounce play, see, now this has gone to bearish mode. On a bounce play, my full target would only be to 360. That would be the massive target. Yeah, that'd be the full target on there. So it's tough with reward to risk on that. PPLT. Now here, oh, there's the platinum. We already looked at platinum. And this is a play. If you can't trade the futures, this is a platinum play. Thanks for putting that in there. Yep. We see that resistance now closing above there. That's support even on pullbacks to about 98.50, 98.35. Definitely buyable still on there. PPLT, good. Thanks for putting that in there. Please ignore if Apple got short butterflies. Apple, yeah, Apple. Let me remove some of these because I have to reset those anyways. Apple, you had that little mini double top which went to completion. I'm watching intermediate term. I'm watching 155.20. I'd be my bigger picture on this. My next major bounce area I'm watching is 151.60 area with the rising 200. But Apple finally starting to break down back below the weekly rotation zone. So really watch where it closes this week, because that would be the first close below the rotation zone since back in May of 21 when it was in this consolidation pattern. So that's, and this is now more of a breakdown pattern. So again, but there's some pretty decent support around this 155 area, 155.20 in the short term. Don't know how your butterflies are positioned with their strikes, but that's going to be a very key area to watch for. Pep, daily double top trigger, maybe a nice short entry. Pep Boys. Or, sorry, PepsiCo, not Pep Boys. What am I thinking? Yeah, let's see. That's interesting because that's a consumer staple stock, but even that's getting a little hit there. PepsiCo. Oh, I'd be watching this key area right in here with that target. 200, 158.79, and the spike low. So that was triggered, little return to the rotation zone and rotating back down. It would have to get all the way back up to this 175 area to stop that out. So I'd be watching for a return to the 200, and that's even in a very bullish sector. BCS, potential gap fill play. That's interesting. Yep, that's a really nice call. I'd be watching for that gap fill tomorrow. Then actually that could even, if it breaks below this 200, and I'm not talking tomorrow, but break below that 200, I'd watch for a quick return to 950, the 950 area, 955. That could be interesting on a couple fronts. First off, that gap fill. Second off, the 200. And then the play back down to 950s. Do I play dividends? I don't play them. I look at times for strong dividend stocks, but I don't do plays specifically to try to capture dividends. Oh, no problem, Raj. Glad to do it. And again, if people are just tuning in this one, it might help them, so that's fine. Costco, music to my ears, 460, 420 put spreads. Let me go back there. Let me see your 460, 420 put. Oh yeah, if you have, that will definitely pick up some steam if you got the 460, 420 put spreads, because that 460 is right here, and that's going to pick up steam as it approaches that 467 area. What month are those? Are those, they can't be weeklies. What month are they? Genomic stock, AMD. AMD breaking back below the 200. I'd watch for 99, 8, well, $100 again, 99.80 to $100. If you break below there, goodbye. That's the little line in the sand from their earnings bump up. Could not hold it back. This is going to get retested, this area here. And if it breaks, you got some minor support at 95, but your major support doesn't come into about 85. So you could see over the next few weeks, if on a continuation decline of the NASDAQ, you'll easily probably see 85s longer term. Plus of these arrows at this point. So that's AMD. 160, 160. What was that for? For Apple. 165, 160, 155 expiring this week. Oh, I like that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So that could still, because you could get a bounce play in there. It's only Wednesday. It'll be interesting to see. But you picked well with that 155 area. In weakness, you might want to roll it a little. You could roll that leg a little lower, and you could roll the head a little lower. But that could be interesting. That could be interesting. XLF just closed below the 200 on a daily. Thoughts in the short term? Let's take a look. This is the key area I'm watching. I talked about that in the sector overview. If we start getting a close, though, below about 38, yeah, that's a warning sign. It closed below the 200, but it's right there. Remember, the 200 is an area. So this is key. If we start getting, if you don't get a bounce out of this and you get that close below this line right here, so I'd say you watch for a close below 38. Just watch. If you get a close below 38, then XLF will turn more bearish on me. Still no longer term sell signal yet, but that is very, very, when those things trigger, it's not good. So I'd be watching to see if we bounce over the next couple days. But if you start getting that key close below 38, not good, an XLF. You are welcome, Genomic Stock. Anything else, anyone? Otherwise, I will wrap this up. Did we look at... I did, didn't I? Yeah, I did look at Lemonade. Oh, Lemonade. My next target is, by the way, 1912. We're down to 19 post-market. I know they missed. And then 1240. I bet you see 1240 on Lemonade. And by the way, anything, just watch this upper end of the rotation zone. That's your key resistance area. Head on these longer-term targets. I remember when I put these on a few weeks ago that people told me I was nuts. There was no way we're hitting 2886 area. And look at that. Look at how nicely that reacted. Holding right there for a couple weeks, and then kaboom. Yeah, so you will see over the next few weeks 1240, I bet. This is the last one. LMT, Lockheed Martin. It's actually basing right in this key area. As long as it stays above around, as long as it stays roughly about 375, it's still in short-term bullish mode, trying to work off this overbought condition with some divergences. But if you drop below 375, you're going to see this back to 200 pretty quickly. Now, it's a really nice breakout play above about 400. So you get above 400 is the breakout play because it's basing just short of there. You could try to front run it maybe above 394, but I wouldn't give it a lot of wiggle room up there because it's rejected up there a couple times. Then I'd be look at that, 416s right there. That'd be my primary first target on that breakout move. I love when these things line up. So 416, 29. Look at that little spike high, and that would naturally. So you have a double. You have a price and a harmonic cluster there. It's definitely an area to possibly take a partial profit off, or at least move up a stop, and then above there, I'd watch for these return to this high area, and that's only after you get the breakout above about 400. With that, I am going to wrap it up. Thank you for all those great stock uh, analysis picks to look at. Some good, some not good or bad. They're all just what they are. But some bullish, some bearish. Uh, Again, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. Longer term members, please do leave those comments and get these videos out to everybody you know. Thank you, Wavy. Also, what's that? No Green Thursday. Oh, I did not know that. No Green Thursday so far this year. So let's see what happens. You are welcome, Tim and Terry. Will this change tomorrow? Let's see. Wavy, that's something to ponder. If you're on the market over preview in the morning, let me know about that. We'll take some bets, some pseudo bets, whether we're going to get a Green Thursday or not. First one potentially of the year. With that, I will talk to everyone later. Everyone have a wonderful, peaceful, and restful evening. Bye for now.